see my work as very much process-based, and I'm a process-based artist. I think my work, I very much encourage people to kind of put their own meaning behind it. Like it is something for me, and then I kind of encourage people to kind of see something in the work or kind of get lost in it almost. That's one of the most interesting things I like about my work, is like just hearing other people's take on it, and even trying to relay that back then when creating other works. More so about like meditation as well, just kind of how you kind of get into that flow when you're creating the work. So I think that would be another aspect of it. Initially started in art college. I was kind of exploring the idea of like repetition. So I was kind of doing that through like different materials and different processes, and then I just eventually kind of started stippling, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and then it's just been continued in my practice ever since. It's dots, so kind of continuous dots, and then I kind of explored that then through metalwork as well, so that process is embossing then. So this particular body of work really explores about sculpture and drawing, so how they're both combined and the balance between them. So the drawings, I see them as very sculptural drawings, and then the sculptures I make are kind of explorations of drawing then. I think the material, like I think it's more so the colour and the light, not necessarily the material itself. And then only recently I started moving on to brass, just kind of, yeah, they both have their different qualities, I suppose. It's just like a very warm, kind of natural looking material. So with the metal sheets I use like, it's called a wall punch, so it's kind of a weighted nail and just basically hammer and have at it. It is quite loud. Actually when I'm drawing I kind of come in during the day, but like say if I did want to kind of work on the copper pieces I would be more like in the evening, because I'm conscious of the fact that there's a shop underneath me. And then with the paper, just kind of pens, so just your standard ink pen. And yeah, and then sometimes I would do painting as well on paper. I suppose just depends how I feel in the moment. So this particular one I think it's well over about 60 hours so far. I think I have another about 5 or 6 more to go. But I try not to kind of clock it as hours. It's more so like the journey and the process. And it kind of takes however long it needs to, because I don't think the hours are necessarily important to the work. It's more so how I feel about making it. But I suppose with drawing I'm definitely more like greys and monochromes and stuff like that, that there isn't much colour. And I think whereas like the metal and like the copper and brass, like they already determine the colour. But I think I wouldn't really like to introduce colour into the drawings, just because I think it has so much hidden meaning. I think it would take from what I'm actually trying to create. I think each one kind of, even though it's the same process every time, like it does have a different outcome, and that very much depends on like how I feel in that particular moment of creation. I think either I might be inspired by seeing something online, or see like what another artist is doing and just like, oh, I might take that into my work. Because even completely different artists, like, you know, Dan Hillier, like he's like more illustration and print and stuff like that, but like I like taking kind of aspects of his work. And I think what I want to branch into next would be like incorporating copper leaf and stuff like that into the drawings, because that's what he does, like with gold leaf, but do that more in an abstracted kind of way. So kind of almost combine the two of them. So I kind of branched off into kind of jewellery making recently, just I suppose as a means to almost like fund the art practice. People have their own little wearable art piece. So I think you kind of very much have to see it, like if you do want to kind of succeed, you kind of do have to kind of market it as a business almost. And unfortunately the way it is going now, you do have to have a very like online presence. I think my heart does lie in making the artwork. I think there's just like, they're connected, but I see them as completely separate from each other. Like I see it as more of like a commodity, I suppose. Like it's easier like making it pretty much to sell, whereas I suppose I don't want to do that when I'm making my work, because I'm thinking about it too much. Like I do stop and start, so we can kind of see it in these ones, but yeah, the idea of flow and kind of letting your own kind of mind take over, and just like the outcome could look good or it could look absolutely horrible. You never know until you kind of step away from it.